Welcome back and thanks for stopping by. How's it going, Eric?
How's it going, Rob? We made it to the end finally.
Yeah, we made it to the end. This is the big one. This is the album ranking of Pink Floyd. Thought you all set?
Right. I'm all set, man. I'm all set. Yeah, I've ranked all the albums. It's tough task to do, but I think there's reason for them all already. So
Definitely, I agree. There was a lot of soul searching going through these albums, trying to pick which one should be above another one. But
yeah,
yeah, no, look, we'll get into all that. So this is the last episode of the season for the end of the year. So yeah,
that's the
we'll run
plan.
through these and then we might give you an insight into what we're thinking about doing next year on the next season. Okay, so I'll let you run off first, Eric. The way we'll run this, if it's okay, we'll go from so there's 15 albums, so it nicely splits up into three sets of five. So we'll go from 15 to 11. You give me your ranking, 15 to 11. I'll give you mine, and then we'll go 10 to 6 and 5 to 1, and we'll see how we go.
Good
So,
man. Yeah, sounds good.
will you kick us off there, Eric?
All right, so yeah, I'll kick us off. So the album that I have right at the bottom, it's probably no surprise if you guys have been following the series. It's an album that I don't feel is the best, but it's unbelievable. Don't hate me out there. I know there's probably some Pink Floyd fans that really like this album. Again, this is just my opinion, but Gum is there, the very bottom for me.
Yeah,
Um, Followed by that, I would say then so is an album again. A lot. I know there's a lot of people out there that are fans of this. I've seen the comments, but unfortunately for this album, it just didn't land for me. There's not very many good songs, so that album is the final cut.
okay.
Again, it's an okay album in my opinion. It just didn't land much for me. Then kind of moving up. So sorry, I forgot to say. So that's a 1 star. Okay, giving this 1 out of 10.
Yeah,
So final cut, then I was given a 2 out of 10. Okay, because there is one or two okay songs on there, but it's a 2 out of 10
okay.
from an overall product.
Cool.
Then next one here is the Saucer Full of Secrets.
Yeah,
Again, I know there's fans out there that really love the really old Pink Floyd stuff.
yeah,
This album is a 3 out of 10 in my opinion. There's three or four decent songs on it. The quality is okay. It's not the best recording that is out there.
yeah.
I've heard the song better live, to be honest, better live
Okay,
renditions.
okay,
And followed by that is Piper at the Gates of Dawn.
okay.
Again, it's a good album, but just better albums, I think. I know it's Pink Floyd's very, very first album. A lot of people will probably go, why? It's a 4 out of 10. I think there's some good material on here. It's just to me, it's not it's not the later stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
David Gilmour's not on this album. The songwriting is okay. It's just a different type of genre Pink Floyd don't.
for sure.
And then finally, which is more again, it's a
Yeah,
soundtrack album, but I rank this ahead of Piper at the Gates of Dawn because I actually think there's just some better songs on it.
for sure.
You can hear the band maturing in their sound, and it's just more akin to the type of music that I kind of like to stick on and relax and listen to, rather than the mad trippy stuff.
Yeah,
So this to me is more relaxing album, and I gave this a 4.5 out of
very
10.
good.
So
Very good.
so Rob, over to you then.
Yeah, so I went through the ratings as well of the albums, what I had given previously, and then that all went out the window. So but I started trying to say, well, that doesn't make sense. I want to put this album above that one. So I just threw my ratings out the window, and this is a ranking from 15 up to 1. So at number 15, you had Oh My Goma. I completely agree. It's the worst album. I actually think it's a cool cover,
Yeah,
but the music is crap. So that's at the bottom of the heat there, 15. Number
it's a win.
14. Same as you. I didn't. No, I won't put it in the bin. I'll keep it in the collection.
Yeah,
But
I would.
it's not getting listened to again unless we do another Pink Floyd review in 10 years or something.
Yeah,
Okay, number 14 for me was the same as you. The Final Cut.
interesting. Yeah.
Again, there's actually a guy who follows the channel. Give him a shout out here, Pat from Close to the Edge. So Pat
I've
actually is a
subscribed.
massive.
I've subscribed to Pat as well. Actually, we're playing man.
Did you? Yeah, he does good videos there. He's big into prog.
Yeah, that's right. I was listening
So
to his prog video on Dark Side of the Moon. It's good Pat for play.
yeah, he knows his stuff, but he actually likes this album. And there's actually, is there someone you work with likes this as well? Or there was someone else on the
Yeah,
company?
actually, I think it's yeah, I believe it's Daniel's sister. She's really into
Oh,
Roger Waters
okay.
stuff in the Final Cut.
Cool. So there is fans of this out there, but sorry for me and Eric, it's at number 14 for both of us. 13 is Saucer Full of Secrets. So same as yourself, Eric. Our bottom three are the exact same. And then for me as well, Piper. I thought Piper was better than Saucerful, but again, still down there, number 12. And this is where we start to differ between me and you, Eric. So at number 11, you had
Yeah.
more. At number 11, I actually have Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was a better album. Yeah. Um
Cool, yeah.
the yeah. I thought More was a better album than Momentary Lapse, shall we say.
Fair enough.
But,
Yeah, fair enough, man. That's
yeah,
good.
very interesting. Right back over to you to go from 10 through to 6.
Okay, yeah. 10 through to 6. So next on my list, and some people again will probably hate me for this, but Obscured by Clouds. I'm not saying it's a bad album. I actually think I rediscovered this album, and I actually think it's a hidden gem. And I'll probably come back to this in a year's time and say what was I thinking.
Yeah.
But just in terms of some of the other material, like I prefer, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. An absolute surprise and hidden gem for me, but I will probably find that will probably go a bit higher the more and more I listen to it. But it is a good listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so then next is Adam Hart Mother.
Yeah.
Um, Fantastic album. I think this is a really good Pink Floyd album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love the jam at the start, the Adam
Oh
Hart
yeah.
Mother,
Brilliant.
sweet that they do. I just love this album. I love everything about it. It's one of those that's I'm highly regarded. So it's also a 7 out of 10. I just think some of the tracks are a little bit better than Obscured by Clouds.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's that. Next then is my uh, momentary lapse of reason.
Momentary that. Yeah.
Now,
Cool.
as you can see, what's left, you can see why that probably falls down here. I actually do like this album. I like it because of the delicate sound of thunder. Actually,
Yeah.
I really love that live album, and some of the songs are off of this. I just love the live renditions that they do of it. So because of that, I give this a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, and the next on the list is the instrumental album, The
Wow.
Endless River. Yeah. So
Okay. Cool.
I highly regard this album, and purely because I'm really into the chill out vibe, the ambient style music. This
Yeah.
album goes on an awful lot in my house and on my holidays. It's one of those albums I just love to chill out to, and
Brilliant.
that's why I give it that. I know every song on the album. I jam along to nearly all of them. So that's why I love this album. So that's an 8 out of 10 for me. And then finally, Metal.
Medal as well.
Uh,
Very good.
that's a really, really good album. Um, it's an 8 out of 10. So it's highly regarded in my opinion. You can probably see the air now, Rob. See if I can
We'll see.
hold it out for you there. You can see the air now. No.
No, man, I'm not getting it.
So, yeah, so that's an 8 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic album. Echoes alone.
Yeah.
But one of these days, Fearless. The only song I don't really like in it is Seamus, but we'll forgive that. It's still a really good album. So that's my
Yeah.
ranking there. I'll go over to you now.
Brilliant stuff. So number 10, you had Obscured by Clouds. I have More. So yeah, hidden gem, I think this one.
Yeah,
Uh Definitely the Nile song, absolutely classic. Yeah, considering it's for a movie, very, very interesting the way the music actually transcends the movie.
yeah,
It goes across into great prog music as well. So really like that one. Obscured by Clouds at number 9.
yeah,
So again, I think this is a hidden gem, as we both said. Uh, Absolutely fantastic. Great guitar work in here by Gilmore. Great ambient music.
yeah,
Absolutely brilliant. A taste of what was to come, I think, from Pink Floyd. That was released in
absolutely.
1972. And I think it's probably one of the most underrated albums that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree with that.
Yeah, okay. Next one then is number 8. So I have Atom Heart Mother at number 8. Completely agree with you. The first song is absolutely killer. I love the cover. I actually think it's a very cool cover.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, this is a solid album, to be honest. Obviously, Alan Psychedelic Breakfast is rubbish, but
yeah, a bit of a
apart from
crap
that,
song, but yeah, we can forgive that, like, you
we
know.
forgive that. Yeah, this is absolutely top notch now. This is where Pink Floyd are really getting into gear here, 1970, and they're really really cracking on. So that was number 8. Number 7, I actually still don't own, so I need to rectify that in the new year. Endless River. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Listening back to it again, it's fantastic album. Absolutely brilliant. It's mostly instrumental, but that doesn't really take away from it because the sound is unbelievable. It's well
Yeah,
produced. There's fantastic songwriting. I think it's just an absolute gem.
yeah.
And
And
then
that's what
number
it would have
6,
sounded like if they did have vocals on the whole thing. It would have been amazing, I think.
probably would have been higher up the list. Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And then at number 6 is Metal. So very similar to yourself. Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
an absolutely classic song. Metal. Got echoes like what can you say? It's just one of their best songs. And apart from that, then
yeah,
it's still got like One of These Days is great. Fearless is great. So yeah, I love that album. Metal. Definitely one I'll be reaching for again. And that comes in at number 6. So now we're down to serious business, Eric. We're into the top 5. And I think
top
just
five.
from
Yeah,
looking through my
I,
notes, I think we both have the
I can
same
imagine.
5 in the top 5. It's just a case of
Well,
what
look,
to be
I mean,
arranged.
the top five are, I think everyone's probably gonna agree with these. But anyways, I know some people will be have their preference more towards a different album. They're all fantastic albums in my opinion. Um, so coming in at five for me,
No way.
yeah,
It's
The
amazing.
Wall. I love this album. I
Yeah,
absolutely love this album. I give it an 8.5. Reason being is I just prefer the live show. I
yeah,
prefer the. There's a few songs in here that are just a bit weird, a bit darker. But I know it's part of a story. But as
yeah,
an album, as you listen to it, it's those are the songs that bring it down for me. So that again, just my opinion.
yeah. Very good.
Next up, then, which is a 9 out of 10, which is Animals. Absolutely killer album. Like I said,
Yeah,
there's not a bad song on this album. It's almost a 10 out of 10, but the thing is, you can't give every single album 10 out of 10. The only thing I would probably put it down for is maybe Pigs on the Wings Part Two. I feel they could have just written another song. That's my only criticism of this album. The whole album is fantastic. The story, the lore, the artwork, everything about it. It's an amazing album.
yeah,
So that. Yeah, so on to these next three albums. No hazard a guess what they are, but they're all a 10 out of 10 for me, and I'll put them there in order of preference. So, Division Bell,
wow.
it's an absolute cracking album. I love every single song on this album. It's just a fantastic album.
Yeah,
So yeah, love this. I can't say a bad thing about this album. I just really love the production on it. I really love, particularly, I think it's because of the Pulse live album. You know what I mean? When
yeah,
I really kind of fell in love with Pink Floyd from Pulse, and every song in this album blew me away. So that's why it's just highly regarded in this house.
brilliant.
So the next one, and people are probably gonna scream, "Go, what are you talking about?" But yeah, Dark Side of the Moon is number two for me. Um, it's a 10 out of 10. Not a bad song in this album. It's just down to my preference. I
Yeah,
think it's an amazing album. Musicianship, the artwork, everything is incredible. Absolutely amazing album. And then number one, 10 out of 10, of course, is Wish You Were Here.
very
Um,
good.
Again, I absolutely love this album. I can't put a bad song on this album. And to me, I think actually, the reason why I love this album so much is because the music is incredible, but the story on it,
Yeah,
I love the fact that they released some of their biggest albums like Dark Side of the Moon before this, and then they followed up. I love that challenge. I love something about, to me, that I love about Pink Floyd.
yeah.
Personal reasons. I just really love this album. It's something about it. It just hits hard, and that's my number one.
And
So
what's
there
your
you go,
favorite
Rob.
track on that album?
It's probably "Shine On You Crazy Diamond." It's incredible song. Like, I
Yeah,
remember seeing it live. Actually, funny story. Went to see years and years ago before I even was a big Pink Floyd fan. We're
yeah,
going to see a tribute band. I think they're called the Spirit Pink Floyd. I'm not even sure if they're still a band anymore. But I remember hearing that song. I didn't even own this album at the time, but I
Yeah,
remember hearing that song and I was blown away hearing the vocals, the
yeah,
girls singing. Like it was just amazing to me. Something about that song just really stands out. So that's right.
class. Love it. Absolutely love it. This is very interesting, Eric, because I have the same five albums, obviously, as you in my top five, but they're in a
Yeah,
completely different order, right? So,
yeah, yeah,
it's mad. Now, I just want to preface this by saying all these albums are 10 out of 10 for me. All five of these albums. I can't like pick between them, but like I am picking between them in terms of my preference, okay? But the reason they're 10 out of 10 is because, in my opinion, they're the creme de la creme. They stand up to any other band. Like there's other bands that I love, as you know, like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Metallica and Rush and Thin Lizzy and AC/DC, and I think about the best albums from those bands.
yeah,
And when I'm saying like 10 out of 10, in my opinion, each those bands have albums more than one or two that are 10 out of 10. And
yeah,
that's okay. That's okay to have more than one 10 out of 10 album
yeah,
because for me a 10 out of 10 album is an album that you wouldn't change anything on it. You put it
yeah,
on and you go from start to finish. You don't press skip. You just immerse yourself in the album. You
yeah,
enjoy the whole experience and there's nothing there that's, derailing you from your
yeah.
train of thought. So yeah, look, I'm going to run through here. Number five for me, it's Division Bell. So I know you
Okay.
had it higher up your list. You had it at number three. Um, to be honest, it's maybe a subconscious thing that Roger Waters isn't involved. That I'm
Yeah,
kind of subconsciously thinking it's not a real Pink Floyd album, but it certainly sounds like a real Pink Floyd album.
yeah,
Like I know Dave Gilmour has taken the lead on this, but it's absolutely phenomenal. As you said, there's not a bad track in it. No skips on this whatsoever. Top drawer, unbelievable. Again, High Hopes is an absolutely unbelievable song. And like
yeah.
Marooned, um, Pulls Apart. It's fantastic. Keep Talking, Lost for Words. I don't know. It's just an unbelievable album.
It's a very
Uh,
good album. Very highly
really
produced
top
album.
drawer.
Yeah,
Okay, that's number five. Number four is Wish You Were Here. You're number one.
yeah,
So again, not a bad song on this album, really. Um, again, I wouldn't skip through. I think it's fantastic the way they bring in the long sections of song again on this album, like Sean on Your Crazy Diamond, parts one to five. There's chapters, they're telling a story the whole way through. Guitar solos on this by Dave Gilmour are absolutely phenomenal.
yeah,
It's got the whole band here firing on all cylinders. Fantastic artwork, fantastic concept. The machine of the record industry. Which
yeah,
one is Pink? All of that feeding into it, where they were, the internal struggles within the band. I just think this album is absolutely top drawer, 10 out of 10.
yeah,
Unfortunately, some album had to finish at fourth, and that's this one here.
yeah,
So that's my number four. My number three is actually The Wall.
yeah,
So I'm talking about, albums that are 10 out of 10 that you don't skip any songs. And you're probably thinking, and the audience are probably thinking, there's loads of songs you could skip on The Wall. And you're dead right. There is loads of songs you could skip on The Wall. And it's a double album, which makes it, you know, twice the task. But
yeah,
I feel that the high points on this album just like they bring it up to such a height that I can accept that there's a couple of songs that don't really fit in. Like they fit in with the story, and we did a full detailed episode on this album, and we went through the whole concept and the story. I think it was like a half an hour video or something.
yeah.
It
You could
was a
talk
long
all day.
one,
Really, yeah,
but so I think the concept of the album, building the wall up between the band and the audience, Roger Waters, and then the whole psychological side of it, of him having a complete meltdown and being given drugs to numb the pain, comfortably numb. I think all of that feeds into how epic this album is. And
yeah.
then
It is
um
amazing.
like comfortably numb, as I said to you before, it from Is There Anybody Out There right through to Comfortably Numb, in my opinion, it's just like a section of music that you have to listen to in one go. You know,
Yeah,
I can't just stick on Comfortably Numb. I have to listen to that whole section of music. And it's building up to the climax that is the guitar solo from David Gilmour. and it's
yeah,
just so much emotion in this album. It's unbelievable.
yeah,
Obviously, other high points will be Hey You, and then Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 into Happiest Days of Our Lives into Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Again, absolutely brilliant the way they take you on that roller coaster, on that ride of emotions.
yeah,
Mother is brilliant. Goodbye Blue Sky is brilliant. Young Lust is brilliant. I don't know. It's just I think it's absolutely fantastic. Like another 10 out of 10 album, and it's probably worth another listen shortly. So into my
yeah,
top two. So you had Dark Side of the Moon at number two.
yeah,
My number two is Animals.
yeah,
So this album for me wouldn't have been one of the obvious ones when I started listening to Pink Floyd. And then before the gig, we went to see Roger Waters on the Us and Them tour in 2018.
yeah,
And I was looking up the set list as you do, and I saw that he played a lot of songs from this album. And to be honest, at the time I was doing a deep dive through all the Pink Floyd albums just to get familiar with the material again and get psyched up for the gig. And I put this album on, and I got through the whole 40 minutes or whatever length it is. And I said, that is unbelievable as a piece of music. Like there's no hits on it. Okay.
yeah,
Like, Comfortably Numb and Happy or sorry, The Wall on the Wall, like they're obviously the big hits there. And then you've got like Money on Dark Side of the Moon. You've got, there's hits across a lot of the big Pink Floyd albums. This one has no hits. It's
yeah,
it's two pieces of music, side one and side two, and it just absolutely flows really, really well. There's great guitar work in it by Dave Gilmour. The whole concept of was it the novel by James Orwell, Animal
yeah,
Farm, the whole thing around communism and fascism and all this. And I just thought it was a fascinating story and a fascinating way to tell the story. Again, that Battersea Power Station, the imagery on this one is absolutely fantastic. Another 10 out of 10. Absolutely brilliant. And then number one is obviously the only one that's left, Dark Side of the Moon. And I know a lot of people would probably say, "Oh, that's cliched, you know. What's your favorite Pink Floyd album, Dark Side of the Moon?" But like, there's a reason it's the most popular.
yeah,
Um, it's the most popular because I think it's the best. Honestly, to me, it's two pieces of music on side A and side B, and they just run concurrently, and it
yeah,
just you go from one track to the next. It takes you on a journey from when you put on the album Speak to Me right through to Eclipse. Takes you on a journey.
yeah,
Um the visuals are fantastic in it, the whole triangle with the light refraction, and then inside on the CD it's the pyramids. So, I just think it's absolutely phenomenal. Stands the test of time. It's always an album. If I'm thinking about my favorite albums of all time, it's always up there in the top 10, without a doubt.
it's not a bad album. It's one of the best albums in history.
Yeah.
Highest albums of all time. I mean,
Yeah.
you
I think
can't deny that. It's
we
an
said it was
incredible piece of music.
I think we said it was the third best selling album of all time after was it Thriller and Back in Black.
Yeah. Fun
Um,
fact,
but
actually, I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you ever put it in the Easter egg video or the Dark Side of the Moon, but I was again listening to the audiobook there on Pink Floyd, and all the voices that are on Dark Side of the Moon. The guy, there's an Irish guy he was talking about, they could talk about madness and all that kind of stuff. But they actually interviewed everybody who was in the studio at the time.
yeah,
And Paul McCartney was in the studio. So him and his wife Linda, is it,
yeah,
or his girl,
it
maybe
would
his
have been back
girlfriend?
in the day. Yeah.
They actually got them doing that. You actually got them doing clips as well, talking about obscure stuff. But they
Wow.
never actually used it on the album. But
All
I
right.
thought
Okay.
that was really fun. I forgot to mention that when we were doing the Dark Side of the Moon, but I thought that was quite interesting to hear that even on the audiobook,
Very good. I've seen pictures surfacing on the net there of Paul McCartney and David Gilmour at a Jimi Hendrix gig
yeah,
in whatever the late 60s. Like
yeah.
how cool is that? Like,
And David Gilmour, he was like he ended up working for Jimi Hendrix or something. He was a fan, but he actually became affiliated with him in some way or manner.
did he? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a bit of history there. Yeah, check it out if you get
I
the
must
chance.
check that out.
There's a bit of history there. All right. Yeah.
I must check that out. Well, thanks very much, Eric, for all your time over the last few months. This has been really enjoyable.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
put
had,
a lot
I
of
had
effort.
this stack of albums,
Yeah,
and I'd listen to a few of them now and again, but to get in and do a deep dive like this,
yeah.
been so enjoyable.
That's it. Yeah, it was a nice task. I had to finish it. Yeah, I had to do give Pink Floyd the justice because like I said they're my favorite band. They're up there. But there's so many other albums we actually didn't even get to talk about. So maybe we can follow up like on some of the live albums that they done, live at Pompeii, Pulse, Delicate Sound of Thunder, The Wall, Live. I mean, there's so many anthology albums that they have, like Relics, Echoes, just so many there. I've got like nearly all their vinyl there, but like they've got all these weird kind of compilation albums. Like Works is one of them, and uh, a nice pair is another one, and what else is there? A great collection of dance songs. They're all
Okay.
these weird collections. They actually released, I mean, true. Well, the record label probably released for them, like make more
Yeah.
money off the band. But yeah, maybe in the new year we can look at some of the ones we missed as a bonus episode. But I really enjoyed this, Rob. Thanks for having me on for doing all these albums, man. Thanks.
Oh no, really appreciate it, Eric. Really appreciate it. And I know you're the biggest Pink Floyd fan I know, so there's no better person to have on talking about these albums. And
Yeah,
yeah, let us know in the comments if you'd like us to have a look at the live albums. I wouldn't be as familiar with them as Eric, but certainly if you're interested in a Pink Floyd live album ranking, I can go back
yeah,
and then we can definitely run through them. That's no problem.
yeah. Some really good ones there. Like I said, Pulse is up there, probably one of the best. And I was lucky enough to get it on vinyl. It's expensive enough, but it's pretty cool. Like it's definitely worth it.
Class, class stuff. So that was the Pink Floyd studio album. So what band should we tackle next?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm also a massive Led Zeppelin fan, Black Sabbath fan. I love all the classic rock stuff. So I'd love to kind of give that a go. Maybe Led Zeppelin next.
Led Zepp. Okay, well let us know in the comments below what we should do next, and we'll put our heads together, Eric, and see what we can do. Um,
Sweet man,
and
sounds good.
that rounds off the year 2024. So we'll see you all in 2025. Have a happy new year. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you in January. Bye now.